Welcome back to the continued part of the animal breeding, and in the animal breeding we are going to discuss how exactly the number of the cattle can be increased. And as far as the previous session is concerned, we have came across various types of inbreeding as well as outbreeding, and in the outbreeding we came across outcrossing, crossbreeding, interspecific hybridizations. Now this method of animal breeding is implemented in all the sectors of the animals where the herd size can be increased, the number of the cattle can be increased to produce the desired products. And the major product that we are going to get, it is from the dairy. We are going to get milk, the production of the milk has to be increased, and from the poultry we are going to produce large quantity of egg as well as meat. So that is the major intention of the animal breeding process. So again, in the heading called as animal breeding, we are continuing the concept here. So here we are going to discuss last two concepts of the animal breeding, which deals with artificial insemination and MOET techniques. Okay, so let's go to the artificial insemination. This artificial insemination, in short, it is abbreviated as AI. Now as the name says, this term is already we used the same term, the definition which you have studied in chapter number 4, reproductive health. The same definition also runs good for this topic also. Artificial insemination is a methodology where the female animal is inseminated, okay, with the semen. That means the transfer of the semen into the female reproductive tract of an animal is said to be AI. The transfer of semen into the female reproductive tract in the animal is said to be artificial insemination. Then for the artificial insemination, we need to store the semen. And how the semen is stored? The semen is stored in liquid nitrogen. So storage occurs in liquid nitrogen at a temperature of minus 196 degree Celsius. That means even the semen is also stored. Then the semen is taken from an allied bull, okay, where we call it as the stronger bull. From there the semen is collected, it is stored at a temperature of minus 196 degrees Celsius in liquid nitrogen, and there it can be stored for longer periods also. So even it can be stored for hundreds of years, okay. That's why in the artificial hybridization we are taking the semen of the bull and then introducing into the female reproductive tract of an animal. Okay, this is for the process of fertilization, where we need to increase the number of the cattle. Herd size has to be increased. That is a major reason why we carry out the artificial hybridization. So this is one technique. Then apart from this, we have one more technique where we call it as a MOET. Okay, where we call it as a multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology. So it is multiple ovulation embryo transfer. Now what exactly is done in this process? The female animals are administered with FSH injections. That means FSH is nothing but it is a follicle stimulating hormone. The animals are injected with a follicle stimulating hormone. Then when FSH is injected into the animals, ultimately it has to act on the ovary, where the ovary will produce the follicles, and those follicles, where we call them as primary, secondary, tertiary graphene follicle, it has to get matured, and later on the egg has to be released from the ovary. But the major intention, the major method that is carried out while administering the follicle stimulating hormone. That means what is the necessity of injecting the female animals with FSH injection? This is because if we inject FSH instead of one ovum as it is released regularly, we are carrying out multiple ovulation. This is the major purpose. That's why the heading, multiple ovulation. That means instead of one, around 6 to 8 eggs are produced and they are released from the ovary. That is the main intention. That means with the injection of this, that means when we inject FSH into the female animals, then the female animals are going to produce 6 to 8 eggs. So, the female animals release 6 to 8 eggs from the ovary. The method is said to be multiple ovulation. So, already ovulation process is over. Then next what we do? We are introducing the semen of an elite bull into the female reproductive tract, where the sperms go and fuse with the eggs. That means the sperms of an elite bull that is taken where the semen of this animal is used. From this elite bull, what we take, the sperms of an elite bull are introduced into the reproductive tract. Then when the semen is injected, the sperms will go and fertilize the egg. Then fertilized egg, now it will become, that means this is the egg, this is the sperm. When they fuse, it forms into zygote, which is diploid. Now this zygote, where we call it as fertilized egg, undergoes the process of cleavage. That means it starts to divide. From one cell it will become 2 cell, from 2 cell it will become 4 cell, from 4 cell it will become 8 cells, from 8 cell it will become 16 cells. So, the process goes on continuing. That means around when the cell number goes on increasing, then around 8 to 32 celled embryo. This is collected outside non-surgically by introduction of catheter into the female reproductive tract. We are collecting the embryos. That means the embryos are collected. Okay. Now, what will happen after collection of the embryo? When these embryos are collected, how many embryos we get here? We are going to get the total number of embryos with respect to the total number of eggs that are produced. If the female animal has released 6 eggs, then ultimately what is produced? 6 eggs, then 6 embryos, 8 eggs, 8 embryos are produced. Okay. Then non-surgically when we take it out, then these 8 or 6 eggs can be introduced into the different female animals. That means it is introduced into the reproductive tract of other animals, where we call them as surrogate cows. And later on what we are going to do? We are, when we introduce this, we call this process as the embryo transfer. That means the embryos which are formed in the female animal is collected outside non-surgically. This 6 to 8 embryos of 8 to 32 cell stage is introduced into, this embryonic stage is introduced into the female reproductive tract of surrogate cows. The process is said to be embryo transfer. That means from a single animal, when we are going to collect around 8 embryos, these 8 embryos can be inserted into 8 cows, where at a time in that gestation period or in that pregnancy period they can give birth to 8 calf. Okay, so that is the main intention of it. Now this can be done in the animal itself, or even the egg and sperm can be collected outside and the fertilization process can be done. And this technique we are carrying out in test tube baby technique, as it is done in the humans. In the humans we call this technique as IVF-ET, in vitro fertilization, means fertilization outside the body. Okay, IVF and ET, embryo transfer, is done. And in the animals it can be done either inside the animals fertilization process, collection of the embryo outside the female reproductive tract of that animal, and these embryos are again introduced or inserted back into the surrogate cows, okay, to increase the herd size, right. So this is what is said to be the artificial insemination as well as MOET techniques. The short notes of an MOET technique will be asked, and you need to write it in the form of short notes. Explain the MOET technique. Whatever I have told in the form of words, you have to make it into the sentences as well as the statement. Okay. So this completes the MOET technique, and the major intention of the MOET technique is to increase the herd size of the cattle. Okay. Now with this, let's move on to the next part. Next part is beekeeping. Or this is the branch of apiculture. Okay, now last two concepts is apiculture and fisheries. With that, the first part is going to end up. Okay, the animal part is going to end up. It completes the part of the zoology. Later comes the part of botany. Now here apiculture is nothing but it is the methodology where we are going to maintain honeybees. It is the process of maintaining hives to keep the bees for the production of honey. Okay, or in other statement, in a simple way, the process of maintenance of honeybees for the production of honey is termed as apiculture. Okay, now here honeybees mainly they are maintained. We are not rearing them, we are maintaining them with the help of a hive. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಜೇನುಗೂಡು ಸಾಕಾಣಿಕೆ ನಾವು ಜೇನುಹುಳ ಸಾಕಾಣಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಜೇನುಗೂಡು ನಾವು ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಹನಿ ಬೀಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕೀಪ್ ಇಟ್, ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ದ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ದ ಫುಡ್. ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಆಹಾರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವೇ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾವೆ, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಹೈವ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೀನ್ ವೈಲ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಡ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ರೋಲ್. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ರೋಲ್ of honeybees, because these honeybees, when they visit the flower, they will do pollination also, and meanwhile they will collect the nectar also. Because of this, nowadays we are maintaining a bigger industry now. Earlier it was used in the olden days also, where it forms a part of the cottage industry, and now we are maintaining them because there is a slogan based on the bees. These bees are the major pollinators of the plants. Because of this, there is a statement that if there is no bee, then there is no human beings. That's why no bee, no we is the slogan that is given for the honey bees, because they are the major pollinators of the most of the plants in the world. Okay, then there are certain varieties of the bees, and those varieties, different types. It includes Apis indica, then Apis dorsata, then Apis mellifera, then Apis florea, then Apis serena. Okay, so different varieties of honeybees are there. Apis indica is also called as Indian oriental bee, Indian bee. Wherever the term indica comes, it's an Indian bee. Apis dorsata, it is a bigger bee. Okay, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆನು ಅಂತಲೂ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. It's a bigger bee, dorsata. Okay, which where you find it on large trees, on the buildings. So larger Apis dorsata, quite dangerous. Apis mellifera, Apis florea, Apis arena. These are other varieties of honeybees that can be maintained. So the domesticated one is Apis indica. Apis indica is domesticated variety where it is maintained for the production of the honey. Then from the honeybees we are going to get one more product which is said to be the bee wax. We are going to get the bee wax. Now this bee wax is widely used in the commercial purpose, especially for the commercial purpose of polishing certain types of cosmetics. Then polishes, in the shoe polish, cherry polish, wax is used, and this bee wax is even it is used for the preparation of the candles also. Okay, so that means there is a dual benefit from this. We are going to get the honey also, we are going to get the wax, right? Okay, so here with respect to the beekeeping, as it plays an important role, what are the major steps that have to be taken for beekeeping? Okay, so steps for beekeeping. So let us look at the characters first. Let us make out the characters, list of the maintenance of the honeybees, and we will go on explaining regarding those parts. Okay, so maintenance of honeybees, how it is maintained. Okay, now look at these characters. The major steps for successful beekeeping. So what we should do, which knowledge we should have. The first one is knowledge of the nature and habits of bees. We should have the knowledge of the nature. Nature means how it is, whether it is harmful or harmless, that is the nature. And habits, that means what is its habitat, where it has to be kept. We should keep it either in the agricultural field or in the gardens. So that knowledge, that habit we should study. So they visit commonly which type of flowers, we should know this knowledge. This is the first one. Next is selection of suitable location for keeping the beehives. This is most important. Where you keep it, location is also important, right? You can keep them in the verandas, in the gardens, in the agricultural field, but not in a closed room. Okay, so this knowledge is required. Then catching and hiving of swarms. Swarms is nothing but a group of bees. Swarms is nothing but group of bees. So group of bees is said to be swarm. What is bee swarming? It is an objective question, 1 mark level question, which will be asked. What is bee swarming? Movement of honeybees in groups is said to be bee swarming. Okay, bee swarming refers to movement of honeybees in groups. Because what is the need of movement? This is for in search of food. Okay, where they get the various kinds of the nectar. Then management of beehive in different seasons. So as the season varies, summer season, rainy season, winter season, we should know how to keep these honeybees in different seasons. Now during rainy season, rainwater should not enter into the honeybee hive, because if the nectar is collected, then ultimately the nectar is lost due to the rainwater. Then in the summer season, it should not be kept in the open ground, because of the high temperature the wax will melt. That's why it should be kept in shaded areas. And in the winter season, it should not be completely exposed to high wind velocity or to very low temperature, somewhere in a shaded place where the wind velocity is less, where the temperature is not too much cold. So there it has to be placed. Okay, so that's why in different season we have to manage it. Then handling as well as collection of the honey as well as bee wax, it has to be done. So after formation of the honey, when the honey is completely filled in the hive, then how to extract it. Okay, now we have the industries where the honey is extracted in a large quantity. Okay, so based on that, if possible, I will post you a video over it. Okay, so honey has to be extracted, and even the bee wax is of commercial use. As I told you, it's widely used in the cosmetics and even in the polishes also, even in the manufacturing of the candles also, right? Okay. Then here honeybees are the major pollinators. As I have informed you, it is a major pollinator of the plants. Especially some examples are given of your NCERT and we are going to stress those examples. One is sunflower, brassica, apple and pear. These are the plants where it is oftenly seen that bees will pollinate these plants, these flowers. So, sunflower, brassica, it belongs to mustard family, sasve gida, ಆ family ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Apple as well as pear, is a fruit. Okay. So, this is regarding the process of the beekeeping. Then in the honeybee hive, whenever we look at the hive, as you know, some extra additional content I am telling you, this is of your NCERT. The extra additional content in the beekeeping is, so we see the division of the labor in the honeybee hive, and those division of labor, it includes queen, drones and workers. Now as the name says, queen is female, drones are males, workers are sterile females, right? So this is a fertile female, these are males, these are sterile females. Now usually in a honeybee hive, queen will be only one, drones will be few and workers will be many. So many of them are workers, most of them are workers. So in a single honeybee hive, only one queen will be there. Andre ಒಂದು ಜೇನುಗೂಡಿಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ರಾಣಿ ಜೇನು. Okay. Drones will be few. Now suppose if you take a honeybee hive, ಒಂದು ಜೇನುಗೂಡು ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜೇನು ಹುಳ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, honeybees ಎಷ್ಟು ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ it varies from the size. It might be around 20,000 to 80,000 honeybees. 20,000 ಇಂದ 80,000 ತನಕ honeybees ಇರ್ತಾವೆ ಒಂದು ಜೇನುಗೂಡು ಒಳಗಡೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ನಂಬರ್ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು. But out of that, queen will be one. Okay. Because queen is fertile, it will produce eggs and at a time it can release around 2,000 eggs. Then drones are males which are involved in reproduction with the queen, where they will release the sperms, and later on the fertilized as well as unfertilized eggs are also released. Regarding this fertilized as well as unfertilized eggs, you have already studied regarding a haplodiploidy type of sex determination in genetics. Okay. So workers, these are sterile females which are engaged in nursing duties, foraging duties, fanning duties. So that's why division of labor is also there in the workers. There are different types of workers. Okay, nurse workers are there which are involved in nourishment of the young ones. Fanners are there. Fanners ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ honeybee hive ಬೇಸಿಗೆ ಕಾಲ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಹೈ ಹೋದಾಗ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾವೆ, ಫ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್, they fan. Okay. So how do they fan? They will just come out of the hive and they will start to fan. Okay, movement start madavo to cool the wax so that it should not melt down, right? Foragers are those honeybees which will move away from the hive and they will visit the flower, and after coming back they will also guide the other workers where the food source is there. Based on the food source, these honeybees perform two different types of dance, and those two different types of dance is round dance and second one is waggle dance. Okay, round dance, waggle dance ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. What is the reason for this? Because it is called as a bee communication. ಬೇರೆ ಬೀಸ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾವೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ನಾವು ರೌಂಡ್ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಹನಿ ಬಿ ಹೈವ್, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಹನಿ ಬಿ ಹೈವ್ ಅದ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಬೀಸ್ ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ರೌಂಡ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟು ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವೆ ಯಾವುದು, ಫೋರೇಜರ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಅದರ್ ಬೀಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫಾಲೋ, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದ ಫುಡ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ನಿಯರ್. Suppose if the food source is very far, then they perform waggle dance. Now what they will do is, instead of moving round and round, initially they will move, I will show you here, initially they will move half round, then they will waggle their abdomen, they will move like this, then again they will move on this side and again they waggle here. Waggling means moving. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ belly dance ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು, right? So this is waggle dance which is found in the honeybees. This shows that the food source is very far. ಹಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾವೆ? Now this direction is mainly dependent on the food source and the sunlight. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಅದ, ಫುಡ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಂಡಿಕೇಶನ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾವೆ, ಓಕೆ, ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್. So these are the two different types of dance which is performed by the honeybees, an additional content, okay, apart from this. So with this we are ending up with the apiculture, and the last part which is left is fisheries. So that fisheries we'll see it in the next session, and by that the first half part of the chapter is completed. Okay, thank you.